What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Carl, the Consume and Review lad, and this is the Consume and Review Weekly Wrestling Review number 3 podcast. I want to start off with a spoiler warning. You may be spoiled for professional wrestling. I'm going to talk about AEW, WWE, but I might talk about other wrestling shows outside of that spectrum, and you could be spoiled for that. So if you don't want to be spoiled for any professional wrestling at all, I suggest you do not listen to this podcast. And I just want to let you know that I consumed AEW All Out, AEW Dynamite, AEW Rampage, WWE Raw, and WWE Smackdown, and I'm going to review AEW Dynamite, AEW Rampage, AEW All Out, WWE Raw, and WWE Smackdown. But we're going to start with AEW All Out that just ended a few hours ago. Now, like I mentioned last week, for special events and pay-per-views for WWE and AEW, I will make my own podcasts for them. Last week, I actually did a SummerSlam podcast, but I recorded with the wrong microphone, so I just put in the Weekly Wrestling Review number 2 podcast. This week, I wasn't able to get Weekly Wrestling Review number 3 out, so I decided to put the All Out podcast with it and package it together. But going forward, with a WWE pay-per-view and an AEW pay-per-view, expect them to have their own podcasts and not to be bundled with these other ones, because it makes these podcasts ridiculously long, and I don't like them being this long, and I don't like having to rush through everything. But I'm going to rush through these 5 shows I'm reviewing. I have 61 pages of notes in front of me, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with the AEW All Out in the Now Arena, Huffman Estates, Illinois. The same location for AEW Dynamite and the same location for AEW Rampage. There's approximately over 10,100 fans that attended AEW All Out, completely sold out. I think at times it was the highest secondary market, pretty much the highest price to get into a show from the secondary market ever, I think, in wrestling. Really wonder if they're going to go to the Now Arena in the future for these All Out events. Maybe they'll go to the United Center, which I believe holds more fans. The pre-show match was Best Friends and Jurassic Express versus the Hardy Family Office. The match ended after approximately 10 minutes with Jungle Boy making Angelico tap. This was a really fun match. I enjoyed the submission chain that happened during the match. It was broken up by Luchasaurus. I enjoyed Orange Cassidy breaking up a pin with the weakest pin break ever. After the match, Jack Evans tried to give Orange Cassidy a haircut, and a bunch of baby faces came in, including Dark Order wrestlers, Varsity Blondes, and more. And at the very end of that, there was a huge best friends hug. So this match was put together because Andrade and Pac fell through, and this was originally going to be the spot for the Women's Casino Battle Royale. But this was a really fun match. Great way to start the event. Now let's go into the, actually before we do that, we have a Dan Lambert. He had a suite with some UFC talent at the Now Arena for All Out. With him was Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, and they all three pretty much cut a promo. And in this promo, it was announced that Scorpio Sky just signed a 5-year extension. We're getting into that part of AEW where contracts are going to need to be renewed. We had Britt Baker. Well, we'll get to that here in a second. But Scorpio Sky announced his 5-year extension renewal. The pay-per-view opens with Miro versus Eddie Kingston. The match ended in approximately 13 minutes with Miro giving Eddie a high kick across the face, is what I believe the announcers called it. This match was really fun. The story of this match was Eddie trying to hit a DDT spot on Miro, believing that's his weakness. He did hit a DDT. It turned into a near fall. Crowd was hot for this match. At one point in the match, a turnbuckle pad fell off, and the ref was really worried about that. And he ended up blocking Eddie Kingston from throwing Miro into it. The crowd got really hot for that, and he was trying to get the turnbuckle pad back on. And while doing that, Miro gave Eddie a low blow, and that set him up for the finish with the kick. And he ended up retaining the TNT Championship, which I believe a lot of people probably figured that going in. But I was pretty divided on this. At first, I thought Eddie Kingston would win, and then I just thought about some more. I was like, you know what? Because they set up the DDT being able to be his weakness, and maybe he'll get the DDT and get the win. But then I changed my mind. I said, no, I think Miro's going to win it. I think it's too soon for him to lose a title this quickly. And sure enough, Miro won it. I thought maybe his wife might come out because he talks about his wife a lot, but she did not come out. And that was that. We saw the card for the rest of the show. We had Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. I may have mispronounced that. Moxley came in through the crowd wearing a GCW hoodie. He was at the Art of War Games last night, and he won the GCW Championship against Matt Cardona. The big surprise to the end of that event last night. Moxley won this match in approximately 12 minutes. This match reminded me a lot of a New Japan type of match. With the strikes and the chops. It was a decent match. Moxley won via a paradigm shift. The big story of this match is what happened afterwards. After the match, Moxley music plays and then it stops. Then Muraku Suzuki, I may have mispronounced that name, his music plays. Suzuki comes out and faces off with Moxley. During the match, Moxley cut his elbow. He was bleeding a lot. And when Suzuki came out to face off with Moxley, they started trading blows. And every time Moxley hit Suzuki, he would just get his blood all over Suzuki. And then ended up with them trading blows, and Suzuki ended up choking out Moxley and then doing a Gotch-style pile driver, I believe what it's called, on him to finish up that segment. Next up, we have a video package for the women's title match and the championship match. Statlander comes out with the best friends. They were wearing some matching gray jumpsuits, something like that. Britt Baker does her normal entrance. Britt Baker beats Statlander after approximately 11 minutes. It happened with some sort of Canadian Destroyer variant. I think Tony Schiavone called it some Pittsburgh move. I kind of missed it. But it was where Britt Baker was on the top rope. I think Statlander wasn't, and she jumps off the top rope to do this Canadian Destroyer type move. A curb stomp and a lockjaw. That was the ending of that match. One fun spot in this match I enjoyed was Statlander was outside and the ref was doing the 10 count. And Orange Cassidy, normally relaxed, he got really worked up, really energetic, was screaming at Statlander to get back in the ring. She got back in the ring before the 10 count. This match did get a "This is awesome" chant, and it was a good match. It was a really good match. I mean, this whole show was really good matches. You're gonna hear me saying that a lot because there was no match that I can honestly say, oh, this sucked or this was boring. Every match was like, wow, this. Even if it wasn't the greatest, it was very entertaining. Most of these matches, I would say 9 out of 10, literally, could probably be a match of the night on like any AEW Dynamite. So they really put on some great matches tonight. After that, we have an Andrade backstage interview where he pretty much asked Chavo if he messed with Pac's flight. Chavo denies it, and they talk about their match coming up on Rampage. And this pay-per-view is so good, and it's even missing this match. And this Pac versus Andrade was the match I was looking forward to the second most. Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks cage match was the match I was most looking forward to. But Pac versus Andrade was the next one I was looking forward a lot to. And this pay-per-view is so good, even without this match, which really says something. Next up, speaking of the Lucha Bros and Young Bucks, next up we have a cage match for the tag belts. Lucha Bros, they get a live musical performance for their entrance. Young Bucks come out with the Good Brothers, Don and Cutler. But Don goes to commentary, and the Good Brothers, I believe, leave, and then Cutler stays cage side. I think he was going to leave, but they made him stay cage side. Lucha Bros won this match after approximately 22 minutes with their finisher. This match had a lot in it, quite a lot in it. It was your typical Young Bucks versus Lucha Bro match with the flips and the kicks and the high spots, you could say. Some highlights of this match is the Matt got a shoe with a thumbtacks on the bottom of it, and by the end of the match, everyone's face pretty much went into that shoe at some point. Ray climbed to the top of the cage and did a crossbody off the top of the cage. Penta was a bloody mess. Ray, Phoenix, Penta, their masks were ripped, and Penta was just pouring blood everywhere. And the match just ended up with their finisher. Penta pinned Nick while Ray held Matt down. Ray Phoenix. After the match, Penta hugged his children, and I mean he was pouring blood everywhere. He got blood all over the title belt too. So you have a picture of him holding the title belt with blood on it. And AEW's doing these bloody figures, like blood and guts type figures. They did it for Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes. They announced a Britt Baker one. They also announced a Kenny Omega versus John Moxley one. I just can't help but think they're probably going to announce a Lucha Bros one too. Maybe they even have the bloody title with it. That'd be kind of neat. I didn't really get to talk about the Britt Baker match or the Moxley match. I'm going to go back there real quick. Moxley winning, that made sense. Really nothing to talk about after that. The only thing I would mention with the Moxley match, a lot of people disappointed it wasn't like Tanahashi. But Tanahashi has a G1, and If it wasn't for COVID, I think Tanahashi could do this and do the G1, but since quarantining rules, that wasn't going to happen. But Moxley really wanted Santoshi. That's someone he wanted. So that was, I mean, it ended up being a good match. Statlander losing to Britt Baker makes sense. You figure Britt Baker wasn't going to lose the title that quickly. So that makes sense. First pay-per-view defense for her. And the Lucha Bros winning. That was what I was kind of 50-50 on, but I predicted they would win. I just felt like it made sense for them to win. The only thing, if they didn't win, it would have to be the Young Bucks losing it to Santana and Ortiz in Arthur Ashe Stadium. But they're not really building to that right now, and they could still build to that, but it's just, they were Proud and Powerful, were so into the FTR stuff, weren't really going after the titles. Wasn't really a storyline there, and I figured this, with the Pac and the Andrade about the Lucha Bros not being champion storyline, this made sense. And this plays into that storyline too, that they won the belt with Pac not there. So maybe that plays into the Andrade versus Pac storyline going forward. But overall, I feel like if they were to face each other, yeah, Lucha Bros should win that one, and they won, and that's good. So we have the Lucha Bros with a tag team that, in my opinion, really deserved the title for a while now. So when you think about the tag team championship for AEW, you have SCU, they deserve that. Hangman Page and Omega, kind of a not. I think they were a tag team probably in the past. Mostly big single wrestlers, but they had those titles for a while too. Lost to FTR, makes sense. Young Bucks made sense. And Lucha Bros, another big tag team. It makes sense for them to hold the title. How long did they hold it for? I have no idea. Who do they lose it to? I have no idea. But they have the titles now. After that match, it was a highlight package just of the show so far. Then we had the Casino Battle Royale match. The clubs were the first cards to come out. We had Shida, Skyle, Blue. I might have butchered that name. Emi Sakura, Bunny, and Abandon. They started the match. Abandon quickly eliminated Blue. Bunny eliminated Abandon. The Diamonds then came out. We had Anna Jay, Kira Hogan, Keelan King, Diamante, and Nyla Rose. Shida eliminated Emi Sakura. Nyla Rose eliminated Kira Hogan, Kyla King, and Shida. Then the Hearts came out. Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, Riho, Jamie Hayter, and Big Swole. Jamie Hayter eliminated Riho, and I actually went back and rewatched this segment, and Riho did not go over the top rope. Riho was on the turnbuckle, and from the turnbuckle, she went down inside the ring on the apron inside the ring and just got kicked out under the rope. But they counted it as an elimination, even though it wasn't a top rope elimination. Possible storyline in the future. They did it with Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer last year at All Out. Was it a botch? Was it planned? I don't know. But she was not really actually eliminated. Fun fact, I don't think she was, from what I saw in the replay. I think one of the announcers picked up on that too, but they said she was eliminated. Swole eliminated Diamante. I might have butchered that name. I butcher a lot of names. If you listen to this podcast, you'll find out real quick. Jamie Hayter then goes to eliminate Swole. Swole and Diamante trade blows after that, so maybe that'll be some sort of dark feud, or maybe they'll actually give them a match on Dynamite. I wouldn't mind seeing them have a match on Dynamite based off this, but more than likely, just based on how stacked this roster is, it might just be something we see on Dark, but clearly there's going to be some sort of feud there, I assume, between Swole and Diamante. Jamie Hayter then goes to eliminate... well, I already said that. She eliminated Swole, and Swole Diamante traded blows. After that, the Spades came out. We had Tay Conti, Red Velvet, Layla Hirsch, Jade Cargill, and Rebel. And what I noticed with watching this Casino Battle Royale, what's really awkward with it is when you watch Royal Rumble and a wrestler comes in, they kind of have like a little showcasing spot where they do some moves and people can focus on them. But when you have this Casino Battle Royale and you have 5 people coming out, like one after the other, it's just, they're doing these showcasing moves while an entrance music for someone else is playing. So it's kind of awkward, but it is a way that you can have like 2/3 of a Royal Rumble in 20 minutes. So it is what it is. But after that, Red Velvet, she eliminated Rebel. Anna Jay eliminated Bunny. Penelope Ford eliminated Anna Jay. Jade Cargill just throws Layla Hirsch outside of the ring. During the match, I believe there was Ruby Soho chants. I was trying to pick up on it, but I think these were Ruby Soho chants. And I think they came really more audible right before the Joker came out. And the Joker ended up being Ruby Soho, former Ruby Wright of the WWE. Jade Cargill eliminated Jamie Hayter In Red Velvet, Nyla Rose eliminates Jade Cargill. Possible match there. Tay Conte eliminates Penelope Ford. And she stood out on the outside apron, and Nyla Rose just eliminated her after that. Thunder Rosa throws out Nyla Rose. Then Ruby Soho and Thunder Rosa go at it for a while, and then it ends up winning. It ends up being Ruby Soho who eliminates Thunder Rosa to win in approximately 22 minutes for this Casino Battle Royal. I last time when I made predictions, I predicted it was going to be the Joker winning, and the Joker ended up being, oh man, I forgot his name. But he ended up not winning. That's the moral of that story. So this time I was like, I'm not predicting the Joker. I predicted Jamie Hayter would win, just based off, I didn't think her and Britt Baker, or maybe they could turn that into like a face move for Britt Baker. But Ruby Soho actually won, so there you go. I didn't want Thunder Rosa to win, because also, it's not that I didn't want her to win. It's just I know they told, rumor has it that her feud with Britt Baker is going to be pushed till next year. So I figured she wouldn't win, but Ruby Soho winning is going to be interesting because she's going to probably lose quickly, or maybe they'd strap the title to her. I don't know. But we have Ruby Soho versus Britt Baker coming up at a future show. Alrighty. After that, we have MJF versus Chris Jericho. MJF had his entrance. It started off with just being like a dark screen, and then it said Jericho's last match on the Titan trying to get some booze. Jericho came out to Fozzie's guitarist, Billy Gray, playing Judas on the guitar. Jericho beats MJF in approximately 22 minutes via the walls of Jericho, making MJF tap. This match was a decent match. They went out in the crowd for a bit, and then they did some ring work. At one point, Wardlow came out, but then Hager immediately came out, and they were trading blows outside the ring, but the refs started coming out to stop them from fighting, and this distracted Aubrey. And while she was distracted, MJF took Chris Jericho's bat that was hanging in the ring the whole match under the ring post. No idea why, no one kicked it out. It was just hanging there, but he took the bat, hit Chris Jericho with it, did a Judas effect on Chris Jericho, pinned him. 1, 2, Jericho puts his leg on the rope. Aubrey doesn't see it. 3, MJF music plays. It looks like he won, but Jericho's leg's still on the rope. It stayed on the rope. One of the refs outside breaking up the fight said he saw Jericho put his leg on the rope at the 2. They talk with Justin Roberts, and they restart the match. And at this point, it really turns into like a roll-up submission fight. Jericho is in a submission by MJF, rolls up, and then he puts in the walls of Jericho. And from there, it ends up being the walls of Jericho that makes MJF tap and ends the match. It was, like I said, it was a decent match. Wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. It was an entertaining match. I don't even know where I would rank it in this feud, because I believe this is the third, maybe fourth match. I think this is the third match between the two of them. But it was an entertaining match. Inner Circle came out afterwards to celebrate with Chris Jericho. We had a Darby Allin video package showing him in a helicopter, and dangling below that helicopter is a body bag saying "Best in the World." And then Darby Allin jumps out of the helicopter. We have the Darby Allin entrance. Sting comes out first, then heads to back, sort of pulling a Rey Mysterio of Dominic there. CM Punk chants. We have the Punk entrance during the face-off. Before they start the match, there's chants of "Holy shit." And Punk beats Darby after approximately 17 minutes with a go-to-sleep, a GTS. The match had some early mat work at first. The fans chanted a lot of stuff. They chanted, "You still got it." There was dual Allin and Punk chants. And there was that one guy saying both these guys chants, which started that chant. At one point, Punk did hit a GTS on Darby Allin, but he fell through the ropes. Punk did this go-to-sleep taunt and tried to hit another one, but Allin was able to get out of it. Allin did mock, before he was doing a coffin drop, he mocked the go-to-sleep taunt, got some heat there, goes to do the coffin drop, but Punk sat up. Darby tried to do a roll-up, Punk reversed, goes for GTS but missed, and then really just later on he was able to hit the GTS for the win. After the match, Steen comes out, offers Punk a handshake, Punk shakes his hand, Punk checks on Punk checks on Darby, fans chant for Darby. Darby refuses help, gets up for himself with the ropes. He's selling a lot. Punk and Darby shake hands. And then Punk played with the fans going back into the tunnel. He was pretending to go into the hill tunnel, and they're like, no. And they went to, which tunnel do I go through? And they told him to go to the face tunnel. A little fun segment there. This was so let me go back to the Chris Jericho match. It makes sense. Chris Jericho was going to win. I figured he was going to win. I didn't think that he was going to be done wrestling for AEW. Once they put that stipulation, there was moments you thought it could go through, but I figured he wouldn't win. I figured CM Punk would win too. I don't think they were going to have CM Punk lose in his first match back. And how he won was the right call. I mean, Darby Allin is over, but he lost to Miro, so it doesn't hurt him too much to lose to CM Punk, and he got to be the CM Punk's first match back after 7+ years. This was a good match. This was an entertaining match. All right, after that, we have Full Gear announcement. It's moving to November 13th. It was, I think it was November 5th, the weekend before. But I think there was a bunch of shows going on, like a big UFC show. So they're moving to the next one. This is going to be a Saturday night pay-per-view. I wish All Out was a Saturday night pay-per-view, honestly. And I wish all the AEW pay-per-views were Saturday night. It was kind of enjoyable. But I think they get more money on Sunday night, maybe more viewership on Sunday night, less competition. But they're not going up against Sunday Night Football. So Full Gear is going to have to be Saturday. And they had to move it because of UFC. I'm assuming because of UFC. It was a big UFC show the Saturday before then. Apparently, the Madison Square Garden show. Full Gear, November 13th. After that, you have a Paul White and QT. They have a video package. That feud warranted a video package. Maybe it added to the piss break, because this is a piss break match, I figure everyone assumes. And maybe it gives them a little bit more time. If they need to take a piss, they can take a piss. But there's a video package. QT does his entrance for the first time on TV in weeks, it seems like. I don't know why he's been having these jobber entrances, but he has. He comes out with 2 members of the Factory. Paul White does his entrance. Factory tried to attack Paul White. Paul White cleared the ring from them. And Paul White won after approximately 3 minutes via chokeslam. This match served its purpose. I mean, everyone understands this match was there just to give people a break between CM Punk and the main event, and it served its purpose. All right, now we get some more addition to the piss break. If you're not done pissing yet, we're going to talk about Dynamite. So, and now it's Moxley versus Suzuki on Dynamite. That's going to be a big match for Dynamite. This is the second time they fought, I believe. Real big match there. Huge match. Moxley's hometown. Moxley cuts a backstage promo about it. Soho's first appearance on Dynamite. It's going to be a lot of people's first appearance on Dynamite, I assume. Dustin Rhodes versus Malachi Black's on Dynamite. Black cuts a promo about Dustin Rhodes. And Pac versus Andrade on Rampage. Christian Cage has his entrance. Omega has his entrance with just Don, who's not doing commentary. He's just standing around the ring. Omega beat Christian in approximately 21 minutes via a top rope one-winged angel. That match was really good. It had an Omega table stomp on Cage. Cage spearing Omega through a table. Omega hitting a moonsault off the barricade. Cage putting Omega into submission. Don called for backup. The Good Brothers came out. Cage attacked Anderson, and then Omega accidentally attacked Gallows when Cage moved. Cage did hit a kill switch, but Kenny kicked out at 2. Cage then tried a top rope kill switch, and Kenny reversed it into a top rope one-wing angel. So definitely protecting Christian. It makes sense for Kenny to retain. No one really expects him to lose. No one really expects him to lose unless it's to Hangman. A lot of people expect him to lose to Hangman on this one. It didn't happen, and I think at the end of the day, it's probably the right call because it would have been extremely overshadowed. We have some story that we can still tell with this. Because after the match, the Young Bucks came out and they were clapping happy. The Elite, they started attacking Cage. Gallows was throwing a lot of punches at Cage. Jurassic Express came out to save them. Elite handled Jurassic Express fairly easy. Yes chants were starting. Kenny grabs a mic, says that no one can beat him or is on his level, alive or dead. The arena goes black. Adam Cole entrance. Adam Cole comes out wearing an All Elite Bebe t-shirt. All Elite Bebe. That's going to be a hot selling t-shirt, I'm going to assume. Adam and Kenny have a face-off in the ring, talking with... Then Adam Cole super kicks Jungle Boy, hugs the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks and Kenny give him a trio kiss on his head. Adam Cole says, story time. The Elite is the most dominant faction in the history of this business. No chance in hell anyone is going to stop them. Then you have Bryan Danielson's theme. New theme starts playing. I forgot what the theme is called. It sounds really close to his WWE theme. It starts off kind of close to that, and then it remixes into something else, but everyone knew it was going to be Bryan Danielson. Formerly WWE's Daniel Bryan. He comes out. He runs to the ring, helps Jungle Boy up, Jurassic Express with Cage and Danielson face off against the Elite with Adam. I think Kenny Omega just ditched and left. They started fighting. The Danielson side, they stand tall at the end. They cleared the ring. And the fans end the show by chanting AEW. AEW. That's how they ended the show. I mean, this was AEW's best pay-per-view ever. And I said the same thing after Double or Nothing 2021. I thought that was their best. Before then, it was probably Full Gear 2019. This one easily blows the other two out of the water. It's going to be hard to beat this one. It really is. I mean, all the matches were phenomenal. Even the white QT wasn't phenomenal, but it served its purpose. But that is the only weak match on the card. Everything else on the card was great. And you had, how many surprises you have tonight? You had 4 surprises. You had Suzuki come out. He's not with AEW, but, it's still a big surprise. Ruby Soho, that's going to be a great addition to the women's division. Adam Cole, no one really expected him to come out tonight. They thought he could. Didn't really know. And it makes sense how he did. And then Bryan Danielson, which a lot of people thought he was going to be Arthur Ashe, but he got moved up to All Out. That's what the rumors were. It's just with those additions, and then the Lucha Bro versus Young Bucks cage match, and then all the other matches, it's just going to be hard to beat this pay-per-view. It's going to be extremely hard. But Full Gear, we're going to have Adam Cole match on, probably a Bryan Danielson match, another CM Punk match. There's a lot of possibilities. So maybe that might be a better work rate pay-per-view, but just the surprises and everyone coming, it's going to be hard. Let's do the worst match of the night and the match of the night. So, worst match of the night for AEW All Out is Paul White versus QT Marshall. I mean, no surprises there. It was a 3-minute squash match. This was the worst match of the night. And then the match of the night, brought to you by pizza from a local restaurant that's delicious, that a friend told you about, and you tried it, and you're like, that's a great pizza, and you keep going there. The match of the night was Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks in a cage match. That was probably going to be one of the top running for match of the year. I think personally right now it might be my match of the year. I didn't really have a match of the year, but that's a phenomenal match. I'll probably rewatch that one. Maybe watch some other matches. I haven't watched too much New Japan matches. I got to catch up on that. But that was a phenomenal match. Definitely a great match. I mean, just the signings they have this pay-per-view are big, and I think the biggest surprise signing is Bryan Danielson. So you kind of know if most former WWE wrestlers like Miro, Moxley, FTR, Matt Hardy, when they came to AEW, you kind of understood why they came to AEW, why they left the WWE, why they didn't renew their contracts. Ruby Soho, she got cut. So, I mean, with Adam Cole why, because they won't let him stream on Twitch. That was a big deal breaker. If they let him stream on Twitch, does he stay? Who knows? They didn't, so he's coming to AEW. But Bryan Danielson, that's the biggest shocker because he was protected in WWE. He was one of the top guys. He was working with creative. Supposedly they offered him a lot of money, so him coming to AEW is a big shocker. I originally thought it was because maybe they wouldn't let him work outside, but of the All Out press conference, I was reading some tweets about that. He mentioned they would. He mentioned he just came to AEW because he wanted to have, I think, a wild moment in his career, something like having a wild moment or something like that in his career. Him and Adam Cole both talked up Vince McMahon, said they have a great relationship with him. And Bryan Danielson said they offered him a lot of money to stay. But we wanted to come to AEW. They even said they offered him to be able to wrestle outside the company, but I guess he wanted to come to AEW, so he did. So that's the biggest shock. That's even more shocking than CM Punk, in my opinion. CM Punk returned to wrestling. AEW makes sense, but Bryan Danielson leaving WWE, one of his last matches was for the Universal title. One of his last matches, I think, was WrestleMania main event. He doesn't need to come to AEW. He could stay at WWE and get a nice paycheck, but I guess I don't know. He just really wanted to come to AEW, and he didn't. And that's going to be a big get for AEW. Adam Cole's a big get, too. But Adam Cole, like I said, no one's really questioning why did he leave the WWE. Bryan Danielson, that would be a question about why. You could say the same like if Roman Reigns were to leave the WWE. Or, John Cena were to leave the WWE and come over. It would just be like, why? WWE, you're a top dog there. And he's going to be he's a big get for AEW. All right, so now that we got through All Out, which, like I said, probably one of the best pay-per-views, AEW pay-per-view, it is AEW's best pay-per-view ever. Maybe one of the best pay-per-views of all time in wrestling in general. I don't know. A lot of people are ranking it top 5. They're ranking it up there. I enjoyed it. Every match was just phenomenal. And Every match, besides the QT versus Spotlight match. But every match. Young Bucks versus Lucha Bro, that was a classic match. 2 years ago, they had put on a classic ladder match. Put on a classic match in a cage. I have a ratings correction last week. I forgot what had the second highest 18-49 rating. It was actually Rampage, not Dynamite. So Rampage apparently had the second highest 18-49 rating since Dynamite premiered. So I'm not really, since AEW Dynamite and AEW Rampage were just building it all out, and I just already talked about it, I'm just going to go through this as quick as possible. You have AEW Dynamite, the same arena as All Out. Only over 5,800 fans were there. Had 1.047 million viewers, 486,000 in the 1849 demo, and a 0.38 rating for AEW Dynamite Wednesday. You had started off with FTR versus Santana and Ortiz. I think this is a 100th Dynamite too. And it was a good match. It went 14 minutes. Santana and Ortiz won. Great match. As CM Punk promo. 2.0 interrupted, started beating up Punk. Darby and Sting came out. And then I think this was when Punk did his first GTS since coming back as well to one of the 2.0 members. MJF interview of Tony Schiavone. Talked about Muhammad Ali's story and not knowing when to call it quits. You had Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans. This match went about 5 minutes. OC did a roll-up on Evans to win. During picture-in-picture, which was the biggest shocker, it was a picture-in-picture, so it just shows you that anything can happen during picture-in-picture, so you better pay attention. Stop looking at that Domino's ad. Watch the match. Anything can happen, because he won during picture-in-picture. When it came back, it was Jack Evans arguing about it. Hardy came in and attacked OC. Best Friends came in. HOFO came in. Jurassic Express came in. Whew. A lot of people came in after that, and they surrounded Orange Cassidy. But Orange Cassidy won the match. Eddie Kingston video promo, going after Miro's neck. Moxley video package. JR was in the ring. He interviewed Chris Jericho. Talked about 22 years ago when he started a main event in the business in Chicago. Jericho, or not Chris, Junior, JR, not Junior, JR recruited him. After that in-ring interview, we had Hobbs versus Cage. Went 8 minutes. Hook was distracting the ref. Hobbs threw Cage into Ricky Starks, who was holding the title, pins him and wins. After that, you had a QT in the ring cutting a promo against Paul White. And it was just the big shocker here is, you know, Paul White and the Factory. I think they're getting into it. The Gun Club comes out, cleans house, and then after that, Billy Gunn hits Paul White in the back of a chair, and QT Marshall looks shocked, like, why did that happen? I didn't plan for that, just shocked. There was no playoff that for All Out, so I guess we'll see what the playoff for that's going to be later. Maybe a Billy Gunn versus Paul White match. QT did go back in and put a cutter on Paul White after that. Tony was interviewing Britt. Britt says she had some inside news about a free agent, kind of hinting at Adam Cole. And she said that the free agent news is she just renewed her contract. And since she renewed her contract, she gets a special match, and she's doing a 2-on-1 Rebel and Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander on the Friday Rampage. Ford versus Conti went 9 minutes. Bunny goes to distract Conti. Ford comes to attack, hits Bunny. Conti pins Ford to win the roll-up. Girls did double team Conti. Anna Jay comes back, saves the day. So Anna Jay is back in AEW from her injury. There's an interview with Thunder Rosa, Nia Jax, and Cargill about the Royal Rumble match. A Rampage card promo. Jurassic Express, Lucha Bros, and Elite. Young Bucks and Good Brothers. This is a big match here. We have Jurassic Express and Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks and the Good Brothers. Young Bucks do a Meltzer driver to win it. This is about a 10-minute match. After that, Omega comes out. Omega dyed his hair black. The Elite jump Jurassic Express and the Lucha Bros. They magic kill our Luchasaurus through a table. Cage comes in, spears Kenny, attacks the Elite. They lower the cage pretty much. They take control of the cage that was above the ring, lower it. And they're all just, the Elite's just beating up Christian Cage and Lucha Bros. Faces try to come in. Cutler's in there with a spray, spraying them off the cage. And that's how it ends. Omega is just, kind of cutting a promo while this is going down. The worst match of the night is Brian Cage versus Hobbs. It was between that or the women's match, and I really think I enjoyed the women's match a little bit more than this match, so that's why I went this match as worst match of the night. And the match of the night is FTR versus Proud and Powerful, sponsored by that local pizza place I was telling you about earlier. That was a great match. It's nice to see them have a complete match now and not have to end it quickly. So that was a good match. I enjoyed it. AEW Rampage, same arena. Over 6,000 fans there. Last week, Rampage gets 722,000 viewers. 434,000, 18-49, a .34 rating. Start off with Malachi Black versus Lee Johnson, which went about 10 minutes. Well, Lee Johnson did get a lot of offense in, but Black does a spinning heel kick is what the announcer called it. I don't know why that doesn't have a name yet. I thought it was called Black Mass, but I've never heard them say Black Mass yet, but Black wins. No surprise there. He beats Lee Johnson. But Lee Johnson got a lot of offense in. Good for him. But then Dustin Rhodes came out, grabbed the chair, runs Black out of the ring. So it looks like Black, we already know he's facing Dustin Rhodes on Dynamite, but it looks like he's beating Cody Rhodes. Now he's going through the Nightmare Family, the Nightmare Family again. I'm trying to end with him facing Cody Rhodes again. The real question is, does he win or does Cody get his win back? We'll have to see. Miro does a promo about Eddie. Eddie comes out. They fight. Miro leaves. Baker comes out with Rebel and Hater versus Chris Statlander. This is a 5-minute match. Statlander put her in some sort of Walls of Jericho move, and Rebel quit. Statlander won, and then Baker, Hater, and Rebel surround Statlander, and Red Velvet comes in, and they all leave. There's a press conference, and between the press conference, there's a fight between Moxley and his opponent at the All Out. They were fighting each other. I just saw a little video package of that. Mark Henry does his weekly pre-main event interview. I think he's done this with Daniel Garcia at least twice, maybe 3 times now. I don't know. I've seen him do it a lot, but it was Darby Allin versus Daniel Garcia. Punk comes out. He does a dive into the crowd again, and someone offered him a drink of liquor, and he shook his head and was like, "What the hell? What the hell, man? I don't drink alcohol, don't you know?" I made a round on the internet. Darby Allin comes out. Garcia had a jobber entrance. Allin first, then he faces off with Punk, then he faces Daniel Garcia. They had a 10-minute match. Allin tried to do a coffin drop, I think, through a table, but Garcia got out of the way. It was like a running coffin drop, like a coffin drop and a spear at the same time. But he slid across the table and took like a hard bump between the table and the barricade. Sting was just fighting 2.0 at that time. Allin ended up winning with a pin-holding leg submission. 2.0 then went to attack Darby Allin. Sting goes to attack Garcia. 2.0 still attacking Darby Allin. Fans chant CM Punk. CM Punk goes down to the ring. 2.0 leave Darby Allin. Darby Allin does a torpedo through the ropes and faces off with Punk. The worst match of the night was Rebel and Hater versus Statlander. Match of the night was Allin versus Daniel Garcia, sponsored by that pizza place again. So that was AEW this past week. Kind of backwards to start with All Out. It's going to be interesting to see where AEW goes forward. There's so many new... It's like between go back 2 months and now just so many big new wrestlers there. Even with Malachi Black and Andrade and Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole and CM Punk. It's really interesting where they go forward in their build to full gear. So now let's go into the WWE section. I'm going to just run by this real quick here because this is already 38 minutes in. Monday Night Raw, Paycom Center, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Approximately over 4,800 fans there. It got a 1,907,000 viewers, 709,000, 1849 demo, a .55 rating. Raw is still the top dog in a weekly wrestling show, even though AEW is just extremely hot right now. Will AEW beat Monday Night Raw before 2021's over with? It's possible. It's going to be hard. It's possible. Damian Priest came out and cut a promo. You had some shout out Ray, Jeff Hardy, John Cena. None of them showed up and were on Raw, but the crowd goes wild for the names. Jeff Hardy, I think, had a match in main event. He does an open challenge, and everyone just comes out. Sheamus comes out first. McIntyre comes out. He wants to open challenge too. He thinks Oklahoma City deserves something fresh and new. Drew has never been the U.S. champion. He wants that match. Lashley comes out, and while he comes out, MVP cuts a promo for him. The crowd chants Goldberg. Lashley wants to face Priest and be a double champion. The RK Bro, they come out, they interrupt. Orton says Lashley is greedy. Lashley does want a second title, but doesn't need to be the U.S. Could be a tag team title. Riddle challenges Lashley and MVP to a tag team title match. MVP says, "You're on." The managers come out, Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce, and they say, "Okay, that sounds good." Priest will face Sheamus and McIntyre in a triple threat match, and MVP and Lashley will face the RK Bro. Last week, they advertised Sheamus versus Lashley, and that just didn't happen for whatever reason. All three matches advertised last week, none of them happened. Miz wasn't there, so Miz and Morrison didn't happen. And then Eva Marie versus Doudrop didn't really officially happen, but Doudrop laid out Eva Marie before the match would start, and then did this fake pin. But none of them officially happened. Rhea Ripley had a match. She came out. She introduced Nikki Ash, which was Rhea's corner. Nia Jax cut a promo saying she's going to lay out Rhea and lay out Nikki Ash, and then also lay out Charlotte Flair later. This is a 10-minute match. Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler. Shayna was doing a lot of offense. Rhea was coming back. Shayna more offense. Nikki gave her a pep talk. Nia's like, "Do not give her a pep talk," and then laid out Nikki. Shayna does an angle slam type pin, but which Rhea reversed and does a roll-up pin and gets the win over Shayna. It was an okay match, is the notes I gave it. After the match, Nia attacked Rhea. Samoan drop on Rhea. Viking Raiders did a video promo about their match tonight. It was Viking Raiders versus Jinder and Veer. Which that match went 5 minutes. Eric tagged Ivar. Jinder ran the ropes, does not recognize that there was a tag. Eric and Ivar do move on Jinder. Eric pins and Jinder and wins, and I put the notes as an alright match. Drew backstage getting ready for his match. Cut a promo for the triple threat match, which is coming up next. Sheamus had a partial jobber entrance. McIntyre had an entrance. Priest had an entrance. This match went 8 minutes. Got This Is Awesome chance, and this was an awesome match. A really awesome match. And actually, I lied. It did not go 8 minutes. It went longer than 8 minutes. It actually went 21 minutes. So I just got my notes mixed up. It went 21 minutes. Priest does the reckoning on McIntyre to get the win. This was a really fun match. Definitely a decent match for Raw. After the match, McIntyre was selling it. There was This Is Awesome chance, and McIntyre Priest shook some hands. We get one of the first recaps of the night. It's a video segment of Lashley and Goldberg at SummerSlam. There's a digital exclusive catch-up of Goldberg. He pretty much says it's like his legitimate ligament, not legitimate. Well, I guess it could be legitimate ligament, but ligament damage and is getting surgery. He doesn't care about the WWE title, but wants a Bobby Lashley for what he did to his son. We get the Reggie video segment at a park, escaping Truth and Takozawa, who's dressed as a dog. Those video segments are always entertaining. You get Eva Marie's entrance. And then you have Doudrop has her entrance, and then she has a song in Titantron. Now she sneak attacked Eva Marie, slammed her down, slams on top of her, pins. Match never was official, but she did her own count to 3. Eva says she's hurt, she can't compete now. Doudrop takes the match and says, takes the microphone and says that she is the winner. Charlotte Flair was backstage interviewed about her match with Nia Jax. Karrion Kross is his entrance. He's facing Humberto Carrillo. I told you I butcher names. Humberto gets his entrance. Camera cut missed cool ring entrance. This match went 4 minutes. Karrion Kross won via a cross jacket. Humberto tapped out. Okay match. We won't see Humberto again for a while if we're following the format of who faces Karrion Krosses and loses. They usually disappear on TV. Where's Ricochet? Where's Jeff Hardy? I don't know, but you could say where's Humberto before this week. But now we know where he is. Where will he go next? I don't know. Main event? Maybe. We get a recap of Nia Jax's promo earlier, and then Nia Jax attacking Nikki and Rhea. She's in the gorilla position. I think she was being interviewed, and then she does her entrance. Charlotte Flair was backstage tying her boots. RK Bros backstage talking to each other. Riddle lists the stuff he's good at. Orton tells him just to be good at being his tag team partner. But Riddle just keeps listing more stuff he's good at. Funny segment. Riddle is really over. great character, and can wrestle. So that's fun. Charlotte Flair entrance. This match went 14 minutes. Very awkward, very weird. I just knocked something off my desk match. At one point, it looked like they were fighting each other. Like, really trying to fight each other. Nia Jax just apparently is a very unsafe worker, according to the internet. And Charlotte Flair looked frustrated. Just a very awkward, weird match. But Nia Jax won. She slammed Charlotte Flair to win the match. Where's Alexa Bliss? Is this feud with Nia Jax, or is this feud with Charlotte not happening? Are they replacing Nia Jax with that? Kind of weird. I think Alexa Bliss and Charlotte's better feud than Nia Jax and Charlotte, especially after this match. But Nia Jax won, so you expect her to go for the belt. We see a segment of last week with RK Bro and Styles Riddle. Morrison's backstage doing a video promo. He's talking to Omos, says he wants to fight The Miz, but Miz went off to Hollywood, asked for a match against the largest man, and is talking to Omos, and Omos says, sucks to be you. Omos entrance with, I think, his own music and Titantron, AJ Styles next to him. This match lasted 2 minutes. Omos slammed John Morrison to get the win. There was some awkward moments with Morrison doing his parkour-like moves. It was a match. Then the New Day's entrance hit. Xavier Woods came out. Xavier Woods versus AJ Styles. They have a 7-minute match. AJ Styles put Woods in a calf crusher. Woods inched closer to the rope. Looks like he was a few inches away, but ended up tapping out. It was an alright match. RK Bro did their entrance during AJ's celebration. Styles and Omos, or Styles was doing commentary. Omos was staying behind him for the tag match. Lashley got their intro of MVP. This match went 12 minutes. It ended with Riddle pinning MVP to win. Pretty much what happened was Omos started choking Orton. I think the ref saw this, but there was no disqualification. AJ goes to attack Orton. Orton throws AJ on the announcer table. But in the ring, Riddle does a floating bro on an MVP, pins MVP to get the win. After the match, Lashley spears Riddle, and then Orton RKOs Lashley, so he could be building for an Orton versus Lashley feud for the belt. Maybe from there, Riddle gets the belt from Orton. Who knows? It was a Raw. Apparently this Raw was like a written last second. Apparently Vince was really upset and like ripped up a bunch of scripts, I heard. Rumor has it. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what rumor has it. And this was a Raw they planned out. The triple threat match was really good on this Raw. AJ Styles and Xavier Woods was okay. Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair was terrible. Main event was okay, and we'll see where it builds next week. Smackdown at the ViStar Veterans Arena, Jacksonville, Florida. Over 6,700 fans. Last week's Smackdown got 2,250,000 viewers, 764,018 to 49 for a .59. So that's with a video package of last week with Finn interrupting Roman and challenging him for the match. There's Pyro. Commentators are Grave and Cole McAfee will be back next week at Madison Square Garden. Usos come out. They cut a promo. Street Profits come out. They have these AR cups with the real cups. Looks kind of trippy. A real trippy visual. Street Profits cut a promo. They have an 8-minute match where Jey Uso kept attacking Dawkins by throwing him into the ring post, and the ref called for the bell. So the Usos lost via DQ because of that, but after that, they kept attacking Dawson after the match. We see Roman watching this, and he asks Paul Heyman to bring him his cousins. Heyman leaves the locker room to get interviewed by a surprising... This is like a little bit they've been doing every week where the interviewer person just surprises Paul Heyman. While he getting interviewed, his Lesnar theme plays on his phone. Heyman kind of ignores it, but then he answers it. And then after the call, he runs into a janitor who ends up being Big E, laughing in his face with a Money in the Bank briefcase. Becky Lynch has an intro and shows a video package of last Friday and the four-way match with the girls for the belt. After the commercial mentions... now we had a commercial break. She mentioned that no one last week gave her "You Deserve It" chant, so the fans started chanting "You Deserve It." You can see the slow heel move coming out for this. She talks about being portrayed as a bad guy because of SummerSlam. The fans boo that, but they're probably going to boo Becky maybe. Maybe she's going to do her heel work good on the fans. Because you can see her slowly doing this by refusing the fight and just, refusing, saying you guys aren't acknowledging me enough. Whose bit is that? The acknowledge me bit. Becky name dropped that person, says she's not Roman Reigns. So even though Roman Reigns is fighting for the belt, she's not fighting for the belt. But anyways, Bianca came out. She beat the girls last week to win the title shot. Fans chant EST when she's in the ring. She cuts a promo, wants a title match tonight, like Roman is doing with Finn. Becky doesn't care what Roman does and says no and walks out of the ring and goes to the back. The Dirty Dogs are backstage. Dolph Ziggler talks to Toni Storm, invites her to sit courtside for his match tonight. Toni Storm says she's rooting for Boogs. Rick Boogs is doing his guitar intro for the Nakamura entrance, but even though it's his match. Dirty Dogs get their entrance. Ziggler versus Boogs. It's a 2-minute match. Boogs pump handle slams Dolph and gets the pin and win. Becky Lynch is backstage, gets approached by Sonya and Adam Pearce. Says match will take place at Extreme Rules. Next week they sign a contract at MSG. Becky Lynch looks annoyed. She doesn't look like she wants to fight. She's upset. Cesaro entrance. Seth Rollins is in Gorilla. He requested this match. Why? The interviewer asked. He said tonight is a perfect opportunity for a new beginning. He says he watched the SummerSlam match with Edge. Found what led Edge to win. We'll use that info to beat Cesaro. We have a Rollins entrance. Rollins versus Cesaro. It was a 10-minute match. Cesaro went to run to Rollins outside the ring, and Rollins hits Cesaro with a chair. Gets DQ'd after the match. Rollins continues to attack Cesaro. Rollins takes the bar from the legs of the chair like Edge used to do with Roman Reigns. Puts Cesaro in that crossface with the chair rod. Cesaro's tapping. Rollins has that crazed eyes looks. He stops doing it. He goes to get the. He asks Edge, "Where are you?" He gets another chair to do a concerto. Edge music plays. He runs up the chair. Rollins leaves through the crowd. Edge checks on Cesaro. Reigns backstage talking to the Usos. Heyman tells Reigns, "We have a problem." Reigns says, "No problem with Finn." Heyman says, "Not with Finn, with Brock." Reigns says, "He'll beat Brock too." Heyman says, "Brock will be at Madison Square Garden next Friday." How does Heyman know? He said Brock called him on his phone. First time in a year. Reigns is like, is he watching the show? Fox must be big and Sasquatch. I can't pronounce it. Sasquatch, wherever Brock lives in Canada. Or maybe he's in Minnesota. Heyman doesn't know, okay? And Reigns is like, well, if you don't know, maybe he's here tonight. How do you not know? Reigns look annoyed. What car is this? A Rolls Royce drives in. I believe that's the car. Happy Corbin comes out. He confuses the interview lady for valet. Kevin Owens has an entrance. We're having a KO show. And Happy Corbin is the guest. Edge backstage gets interviewed. Said he thought he was done with Rollins, but he's not. He challenges Rollins to a match next week at Madison Square Garden. Happy Corbin gets his entrance. He gets booze. He hugs Owens awkwardly. Says he's happy to be on the show. Thanks, Owens. Says he doesn't have the $100 to pay him back. He left the wall in his car, but his special guest may have it. Logan Paul is a special guest. Logan Paul comes out to the nuclear heat he got on Monday Night Raw, the booze. I guess they saw him get booed and they decided they're going to pair him with a heel instead of a face. That would work a lot better. He thanks KO for having him on the show. KO said, I didn't invite you on the show. He wouldn't subject his fans to that. He brings up the SummerSlam incident where Logan Paul and Baron Corbin got into a little tiff. They got a little tiff, and they said, well, we're all good now. Logan Paul offered Kevin Owens $100. Kevin Owens doesn't need money. He wants Logan Paul to leave and never show his face in WWE again. Logan Paul pushes Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens pushes back. KO goes to attack Logan Paul. Corbin blocks him and chokeslams Kevin Owens. Logan Paul throws $100 onto Kevin Owens. We see where this is going. I'm pretty sure Kevin Owens is the one who stunned Logan Paul at WrestleMania, so this makes more sense than what he was doing on Raw. And this is going to be interesting to see where this goes. But he has the nuclear heat, and that's going to play well into a match if they have a match. It is a weird Carmella video package. And Liv Morgan's off to the side and looks at her and says, seriously, she's like showing off her body. It's just weird. Sami Zayn entrance. Before he gets in the ring, Dominic Mysterio starts his entrance. He has a new Titantron music. Ray comes out, then stands back and goes behind. This match went 2 minutes. Sami Zayn went to leave during the match. Ray come out to force Zayn back in. Dominic tells his dad, he got this, man. He got this. While he said that, Zayn Halua kicked Dominic to win the match. Sonya backstage talking on her phone about Lesnar returning. She's so excited. Naomi's like, hey, where's my match? Sonya's like, what? You said about my match. Sonya's like, I forgot. Tell me next week. Naomi looks annoyed. Advertisement for next week's SmackDown. Lesnar's returning to SmackDown. There's a Super SmackDown. Edge versus Raw and contract signed between Lynch and Belair. Finn's in the gorilla position. He gets interviewed. Finn says, for 5 years, people ask, what would happen if he didn't get injured in 2016? Tonight, he answers that question. During his entrance, the Usos attack him. Street Profits come to save the day and chase the Usos off, but he's injured. When Reigns does his entrance, Finn is getting medical attention, but these guys have a match, and this match goes on for 11 minutes. Reigns kicked out of Finn Balor's finisher. He also did a low blow while he kicked out, which the ref didn't see. Reigns did his submission to Finn. Finn passes out. Roman leaves the ring. Lights go red. Reigns looks worried for a bit, but it keeps. It just ends. He looks a little worried, but no one came out, and it ends. That was SmackDown. SmackDown's a better show than Raw. This was a decent SmackDown. I mean, it's really hard to compare Raw and SmackDown when you just watched All Out, which is one of the best wrestling events of the year. And then even Dynamite and Rampage are good. Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, it's decent. We'll see what happens next week on SmackDown and next week on Raw. The big news I have this week is Mania, rumor has it, is going to be 2 nights this year. It makes sense because it's 2 nights the past 2 years. It's not official yet, but it makes sense. It could be more money. And I know Peacock apparently likes Saturdays a lot, so they're trying to push more Saturday pay-per-views. And you could have a Saturday WrestleMania and a Sunday WrestleMania since it's big enough. A lot of fans don't like it. I don't mind it. It's exciting because it's better than one like long show. But if you're going there, maybe you'd rather do a long show versus doing the traffic and the parking for 2 like 4-hour shows. I don't know. As a viewer at home, it's probably better. If you're going there, maybe not. But then again, being there for 8 hours straight would probably be terrible also. So maybe it would be better to break that up. But anyways, rumor has it Mania will be 2 nights this year. It's not official yet. We'll see. But if it's 2 nights this year, it could be 2 nights going forward. And we'll probably see more Saturday night pay-per-views if Peacock really likes that. I would not be surprised if really special pay-per-views get just Sunday night, like WrestleMania. And then most pay-per-views are Saturday night. But we'll see going forward. Anyways, that was this weekly wrestling review number 3. My name is Carl. I'm the Consumer Review Lad. Let me know what you think about everything I mentioned here. What did you think about All Out, Dynamite, Rampage, Raw, SmackDown? What do you think about the new signings? What do you think about the matches? What do you think about the future booking predictions? And if you want to leave a review for this podcast, go ahead and do it in the comments down below. I might consume that review and review it in the future. Anyways, if you enjoyed this, please click the like button. If you didn't enjoy it, subscribe. You might enjoy it in the future. My name is Carl. I'm the Consumer Review Lad. This has been Weekly Wrestling Review number 3. Peace out.